Good morning, guys. Welcome to Mug Briefing. Apple just put a date on the calendar and quietly pushed a change to how we'll listen to and watch podcasts. On March 4, 2026, Apple is holding a special Apple experience at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and in a separate newsroom post, it announced a new video podcast experience for Apple Podcasts that it says will arrive this spring. That's the short version. A public event is scheduled, and Apple announced a concrete change to the podcast's app that moves it beyond audio. So what exactly happened? First, Apple sent invites and publicized March 4 as the day for a staged media event, with press invited to shows in New York, London, and Shanghai, and the online live stream set for 9 a.m. Eastern Time. That's a firm public date and time. Apple confirmed the schedule, not the product list. Separately, Apple's newsroom published the technical announcement: Apple Podcasts will support video podcasts using HTTP live streaming, or HLS. In simple words, HLS is the streaming technology that lets a device swap smoothly between audio and video versions of the same episode, play full-screen video, and let listeners download video episodes for offline viewing. Apple also said creators will have monetization controls and that early support appears in developer betas for iOS, iPadOS, and visionOS 26.4, meaning engineers and developers can test some pieces now, while the public rollout comes later in spring. What did Apple actually promise versus what reporters added? Apple confirmed the event date and time, the podcast's feature, the use of HTTP live streaming, the spring timing, and that betas include early support. Less certain or assumed, the exact lineup of new hardware on March 4, Apple hasn't said. The precise monetization mechanics, Apple said creators will get controls but hasn't published the details. Whether all Apple devices will support video podcasts at launch, or whether big podcast networks will immediately go video first. Those are reasonable expectations based on how Apple usually launches products, but they are not guarantees. Why now? A few practical reasons line up. Apple runs regular product and services cycles in late winter and spring. Announcing an event in early March gives the company time to ship software and coordinate marketing before the spring selling season. More strategically, adding native video support strengthens Apple's services offering. Podcasts are part of Apple's push to grow subscription and advertising revenue, and it puts Apple in direct competition with platforms that already mix audio and video, like YouTube and Spotify's video experiments. In short, it's both a calendar move and a business move to make podcasts more creator-friendly and potentially more valuable as ad inventory. Who stands to gain and who may be exposed by the change? Creators who already make video or who can afford video production will gain the most. They can sell premium video episodes, offer downloads, or run richer ads. Large podcast networks and established creators will be better positioned than small audio-only producers, at least initially. Advertisers gain new, more visual inventory and tighter measurement inside Apple's ecosystem. Competitors such as YouTube, Spotify, and independent hosting platforms will feel pressure to respond if Apple's video experience attracts audience and ad dollars. Inside Apple, teams that run services and Apple Podcasts benefit strategically if the move increases subscriptions or ad revenue. Engineering and operations teams will carry the technical burden of delivering smooth HLS playback and offline downloads. What could realistically happen next? Expect Apple to publish developer documentation and push more detailed beta builds to creators and publishers in the weeks before spring. The public rollout could follow in stages: early adopters first, wider availability later. Delays are possible. Betas sometimes reveal bugs or device compatibility issues that push ship dates. Apple could also restrict full feature sets to newer devices at launch, which would leave older iPhones and iPads on audio only for a while. Creators who want to compete in video will likely need to budget for cameras, lighting, and editing, meaning production costs rise. Advertisers may pilot campaigns on Apple Podcasts video. If those pilots perform well, budget shifts from audio to video could follow, but that would happen gradually, not overnight. What does this mean for everyday Americans, listeners, creators, workers, and investors? For listeners, the change means a broader choice. You'll be able to watch some shows in your podcast's app and download video for offline viewing, but audio will remain available and useful. This is an expansion, not a replacement. For creators, there's a clear production trade-off. Higher potential revenue and discoverability for those who adopt video, but higher costs and a steeper learning curve for small creators. For users, video means more data use and potentially more storage needed for downloads. That's a practical cost to keep in mind. For investors, this is another services growth signal for Apple, but it's unlikely to move the needle alone. Services revenue depends on adoption, ad prices, and subscriptions over time. What this does not mean, audio podcasts are not going away. Apple is not turning podcasts into a YouTube clone overnight, and it has not guaranteed creators will earn more money. Monetization controls are coming, but specifics and revenue shares are not yet public. The March 4 date does not automatically mean blockbuster hardware will be announced. It means Apple will speak publicly that day. What would make the story materially bigger? If Apple locks essential features behind new subscription tiers, if major networks sign video-only exclusives, or if advertisers redirect large portions of their podcast budgets into Apple's video slots, the industry dynamics would shift rapidly. Those are big, measurable moves to watch for, and they would drive faster responses from rivals and possibly attract regulatory attention if exclusivity or ecosystem locking intensifies. Which signals should you watch next? Watch whether Apple publishes developer docs and monetization rules soon, whether top podcast creators start posting video episodes in beta, whether advertisers announce pilot buys tied to Apple Podcasts, and whether reviewers report smooth playback and reliable offline downloads. Also watch how competitors react. Similar feature rollouts from Spotify or integrations on YouTube would tell you this is an industry-wide pivot, not just an Apple play. In short, Apple has set a public date, March 4, and announced a concrete technical step for podcasts that brings video into the native app. The event locks in the timing, the podcast changes promise new tools and options, the big questions about device limits, exact monetization terms, and the pace of adoption still await Apple's follow-up releases. For listeners, it means more ways to enjoy shows. For creators and advertisers, it means new opportunities and new costs. And for the industry, it's another nudge toward video-first content that will play out over months, not days.